Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Create Your Life video series, where we are talking with and having conversations with Access Consciousness facilitators about how to go beyond mediocre to infinite possibility, about creating your life using some of the tools of Access Consciousness. And today, I'm so excited that we have my good friend Curry Glassell is here with us today. And I've been wanting to have this conversation with Curry for quite a while. So yay, we've like postponed and changed dates a couple of times, but today here we are. So I'm so glad. So Curry, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited too. And you know what? I was so sorry we had to postpone. And then at the same time, it's like right now, it's just perfect.
Exactly, right? And it all works out in the best possible way, like it always does. And it's always so much fun when we go with the energy and we go with what's light and we go with what is a contribution to you and to me and to everybody else, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So for those of you who don't know Curry, I actually met Curry a long time ago at my first 7-day event back in Costa Rica. That was quite a while ago. But I was, and now since then, I've seen Curry since then. But that first time, I remember I was just like so. I don't know what the word is exactly, but she wowed me. It was, her energy was just such as like, wow, she's like, she has this brilliance about her, this energy about her that is so magnetic and fun at the same time, right? And very inviting, right? Is what I was getting at the time. And it's like, oh, she's, I really want to get to know her. And we had conversations and it's like, wow, I just really like her energy. She's so much fun. And oh, the word I want to use is genuine, like real, like a real live person. And for me, that's so important. For me, it's like what you see is what you get, so this is me, right? And so with you, that's what I was getting, that this is me, you know, in all my vulnerability and all my whatever, this is authentically me. This is Curry, right? And I love that about you. And so for those of you who don't know Curry, like I said, I've been wanting to have this conversation with Curry for a while. And Curry was born to be a glamorous globetrotter, right? She was raised in oil patch opulence, educated in New York City, and finished with a big dose of reality as a struggling single mom. And, some of us can relate to that part for sure, the struggling single mom, right? And today, Curry is a global progressive powerhouse, putting people, ideas, and money together to create positive, lasting changes. And you can read more about Curry on the live page, of course, and in the email. But I just want to say, when I approached Curry about being on the show, she was so generous and so kind, and she's like, hey, can we talk for a few minutes, and it's like, okay, sure. And we had this beautiful conversation. It was so uplifting and so empowering and so like it's like, yeah, this is somebody who is so easy to talk to. So I'm so glad you're here with us, Curry.
Well, thank you. But now I feel like we're going to have to ask them to destroy and create all their projections and expectations of me, because I am me. And for better, for worse, here we are. We are.
Yes,
We go
exactly.
through life with, for me, gratitude, I think, would have to be one of the most important factors in my life, because without it, I probably would have sunk.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So I know, Curry, you've experienced a lot in your life, right? And I know that the tools of Access Consciousness have really helped you to create the life that you have created for yourself. So you know how before we went live, you were asking me, when did I start with Access? How did I start with Access? So I'm going to ask you the same thing. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started with Access Consciousness, and what are some of your favorite tools?
Yes, absolutely. So believe it or not, it was 17 years ago, 2 days before 9/11, that I first met Dr. Dane here. And I had been traveling on and off with a couple of different spiritual teachers, attempting to find out who I was, what my purpose was, etc. I was a divorced single mom, going completely crazy. I had no help from family, which not surprising. And I really felt very lost. and I was very sad and very unhappy most of the time. So when I met Dane here, I met him through a phone call. Somebody made a phone call, and I met him, and actually I went out to dinner with him.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And we talked and talked and talked, and I thought, this guy's pretty cool. And he kept talking about this access stuff, which, okay, great. And he's like, you have to meet, the founder, Gary, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, You're like the most strangest, cutest, different person I've met in years. I'm ready. I'm ready for something different. And so the next night, Gary wasn't available. So the next night he called me and he said, would you like a free session? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. What is it? So my very first experience in Access was a Dane ESB session.
Wow.
And yeah, I know, right? So they had just finished what used to be level 2 and 3, and we're in Houston. And I went over they had a kind of a suite layout, and there was a room where Dane had his table up and did sessions. And so I had a session, and I'll never forget it because I started laughing. I don't know what he said. I couldn't understand anything, which I now know where process is, but it just hit my funny bone. And I started giggling like I hadn't laughed in, let's see, when was my divorce? 1996. And so this was 2001, right? 9/11, 2001. It was September, a day before 9/11. It was like the 10th. Yeah, it was September 10th. 9/11 was September 11th. And I just couldn't stop laughing. And he kept saying this, the funniest thing ever. And every time he said what I now know is the clearing statement, I just got hilariously gigglish. I just could not stop laughing. And so after the session, I was like, I don't know what that was, but I haven't had this much fun. I mean, you are not a regular chiropractor. You are not a regular massage therapist. I don't know what you are and what you just did, but I do want to know. I want to know more. And what the hell are you saying? What language are you speaking, right?
Right.
I mean, that was really and truly. And so we went into the other room, and there was Gary Douglas and 2 other people. He had just finished having, I guess, a private session. And I didn't say much. I just sort of sat there quietly because they were all talking. And in my head, and like my whole being was like, this man is a man who has no personal agenda. He's not dangerous. He's not to be afraid of. He's something I've never met before. He's not like any man. And the word that came to me was, here's a man with no guile.
Ah, okay.
Now, of course, for those who have never read my biography or any of the bits and pieces of my book that's hopefully coming out, I was raised by a multi-millionaire / billionaire. And everyone I was raised around always had an agenda. And they always, like, you never were talked to because of who you were. I mean, for like your, how can I explain it? Everyone always talked to me to get something from me.
Yeah.
Okay. And so basically I kid and I say I was really raised in a Shark Tank, and I have some injuries to show for it, When I met Gary and Dane, that's the first thing that I was struck with them, was that they actually were kind human beings, and they had a caring about people. And I went, I don't know what it is you're doing, but I want to be around you some more. And so that was how it began. And within a short period of time, one of the people I met that night took me through bars. And then actually, I think Dane took me through bars, and then he left, and some girl took me through foundation. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stories there. And that's how it began.
Wow. That's amazing.
And, yeah, it was amazing. So it changed my life from the very first minute I met those 2. I started being happy, and I was like, oh my God, if I can feel this good in 1 hour, what are all the classes? What else can I change? And I had 2 little children. I had how old were my kids? I think they were like almost 4 and almost 8 at the time. And I took them to every class I could, because I did, foundation, and I got to 2 and 3 and then started going. I was actually at the very first 7-day in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, my kids. And so I dragged them along with me, and there we were. We were like, okay, I don't know what this is, but this is what we're doing.
And that's great because, kids receive so dynamically and so much more easily than we do, right?
It's really interesting. So I have 2 boys, and one basically totally wanted nothing to do with it. And at 13, he moved in with his dad and left. And one kid just loves Access, has been an Access facilitator for like 4 years. And he's like the coolest kid ever. So we really make our own choices no matter what. Both kids given the exact same opportunity, the exact same information about choice, creation, possibilities, questions. One rejects it, one embraces it.
Yeah. And either way is fine, right? It's up to them to choose. And so, like my kids, my son totally rejects everything to do with anything, energy, healing, Access, doesn't want anything to do with it. My daughter, she will at least ask me a question, she'll call me up and say, Mom, this is going on, can you help me? Can you, tell me something, so I'll ask her a question, or, she might just say, can you just send me healing? Yeah, I can do that too. Right. Yeah. But she's more interested in it, and so but they both have as much, like I'm available to both. Right.
Right.
In whatever way that they require. So I'm not calling my son saying, hey, do this and do this and do this. If he calls me and asks me something, then I'll say, hey, well, what do you think about this? Right? Maybe you can try this. And then it's up to them. Because that, for me, the choice, like you were just talking about, is one of the key components of my life. Is like, once I started choosing for myself and recognizing that I had choice, my whole life started changing. But for the first 43 years, I did not think I had choice. I did whatever my parents told me to do, what society told me to do, what my ex-husband and his family, and all of that stuff, right? Sure. When I finally started choosing for me, everything changed. It's like, wow, I'm finally alive. I'm finally living. I'm finally being me. So how has that been for you when it comes to choosing for you?
Well, very similar. I would say that before Access, the only choices I made were in resistance and reaction, or fighting against my family, my father, mean people, strange people, people who for some reason, I thought that I could make them understand the way I thought about things. Mm-hmm. I spent a lot of my life trying to defend myself, defend my point of view. That's really exhausting.
Yeah.
And so for me, the Access processes, the Access classes were really the first moment I ever heard that I didn't have to defend myself.
Yeah.
And they were what I chose for me, as opposed to resisting and reacting to others. It was the beginning of my entire life changing, and everything. I mean, everything changed as that shifted, and I'm still changing, and I'm still shifting. And, thank God, we've had 4 trillion lives, because let me tell you, I'm not where I would like to be. I wish I would like to be so much more conscious. I would like to have, what is my target with my Access business right now? I would like to create at least $300,000 a year with my Access business. I would like to have private clients out the wazoo. I would like to be traveling at least 2 weeks every month, and have classes every weekend. And I would love to have a great sex partner. So that's my ask at the moment.
I love it. And I love that you're asking for these things and sharing them with us, because, my interesting point of view is hey, you've been in Access a long time. Why don't you have everything that you want, right?
That's a really, really good question. And I can tell you the first part of that, but what I do know is that it took me a long time to figure out what I actually wanted
Mm-hmm.
because, see, I don't come from a background of lack in any area. So I actually didn't lack anything
Right.
except for fun and joy.
Yeah.
I had no fun and no joy in my life. I mean, I had material things,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't fill your soul. They didn't fill your life with meaning and joy. And you know, my life was kind of empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always trying to fix myself because I had this stupid thought that if I fix this, then I would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of inundated with the contextual reality, the psychology of the day, that if I just could find what was wrong with me, then everything would be all right.
Yeah, then I can fix it and everything would work out.
I can fix it. And I actually started on this path when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. I started reading about reincarnation when I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And Merlin, and I was like, and nobody I knew read these kinds of stories, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody. I was so weird. I was such a round peg in a square society.
Mm-hmm.
And I was basically dubbed a space cadet and really strange from, you know, the minute I got to Houston. I got to Houston when I was 6 years old. So let me tell you what, access is a gift today as much as it was for me 17 years ago. And I just actually wrote my very own first blog as opposed to doing an interview with someone and having it transcribed and having them edited and make it all fancy, because I thought I was really a bad writer. I didn't think I could write very well at all. And like 3 days ago, I just sat down at the computer and I just asked some questions and I started writing. So I've just written my very first blog about how to cope with the holidays, and it's for my mailing list. And so they're going to get it. It probably will be on my website eventually too. And I didn't want to look at it, so I sent it to my son to edit, and I sent it to my friend Michelle, who's on my team that you met. And I was like, so is it inspiring or depressing? What is it? You know, I wasn't really sure because I was so honest. And actually, that has been one of my most difficult, I wouldn't even know what the word is. I didn't want to talk to people about my life because I found it so depressing. And I didn't want to depress people.
But what if that can be an inspiration to other people so that they know that they're not alone, you know, that because maybe they're depressed too, you know, and that they thought they were the only ones, right?
Right. And I really have to tell you, I don't think I would be happy without the access tools.
Yeah.
I literally feel like it brought me out of a major depression. And if I tend to slide in there, which is usually when I believe instead of questioning all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that go through my head every day, because I'm super ADD, super ADHD, super OCD, and I don't know what else. You know, I have so much going on, and through this head, you know, why they ever called me a space cadet, I'm really not sure, because there's way too much going on in here. I'm like, where is the space? Give me some space. So I kind of live in who does that belong to, an interesting point of view. So for me, the greatest tools that changed my life was who does this belong to, and knowing that every thought, feeling, and emotion that came through my head, that I could question it, that I didn't have to buy it as true and real. I could question it. It was the greatest tool I ever received, and it's still a tool that changes my life minute by minute, moment by minute, moment by moment. And it is, without it, I don't think I could smile. I don't think I could do what I do. And I certainly couldn't be an inspiration. If I believed all the shit that I hear in my head, holy moly.
Right? And, you know, even Dane talks about it. He still uses who does this belong to all the time. He talks about it every time he's on stage, you know, that he uses that all the time, you know, and it's like, huh, wow. So why aren't we using it? So for everybody on the call right now, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but if you have a question, you can raise your hand. There's a button to raise your hand, or
Yeah.
you can just unmute yourself, or you can
Put
write
on
something
my
in the chat.
glasses and try and find where the new chat box is and the new site that I'm still like popping and plotting everything I think about technology.
Yeah, right. It's like, but this is simple, and these guys know what to do. So if you do have a question, just raise your hand, and well, you can ask the question live or type it into the chat. And you know what I find interesting is I want to ask all of you: are you using Who Does This Belong To? Because that's one of the, I hate to say basic tools, but one of the first tools that we learn about in Access is Who Does This Belong To? Are you using it? So if you want to type it into the chat box, that would be great, just so that we can see that, yeah, we're using it, or no, I'm not. And why not? I mean, I don't use it all the time either, to be honest, but it is one of those ones that is there. For me, it's especially, I use it when I have like a negative thought or a yucky feeling, you know, or something physical. If I suddenly feel like this ache or pain or pressure somewhere, then I'll ask, oh, what is this? Who does this belong to? You know, because it's not mine. I was fine like 5 seconds ago. And that's what I have found for myself. That tool is good for that for me. It brings me back to present. You know, when I'm aware of something and I ask, it brings me back to me instead of being out there, right? Oh, that's good, Linda. I'm so glad.
And you know, it's so funny how people have said they're the basic tools.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people who've been in Access longer than just about anybody other than Shannon. Dane came in the year before me, and of course Gary and Grace. I mean, I'm like, you know, and I love Who Does This Belong To? And I love all the basic tools, and I always have. I've always focused on them, and in all my classes, I bring them up. I mean, maybe I'm actually a simple person.
Yeah.
But these simple, basic tools work for me. When I start going into my head and start head tripping and getting all complex, it just, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
You know? And the thing about Access for me is that my life and lifetimes are layered, right? So I may clear 10 lifetimes, but if I'm at least 4 billion years old, I probably have made a few decisions that still need clearing. I probably have believed some judgments that are outright lies that I can destroy and uncreate, you know? And sometimes I have gotten a little frustrated because I think, my God, you know, 17 years I've been trotting this path of, you know, more awareness, and I still fall into judging myself. I do get aware of it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Thank God, you know.
Yes, exactly.
So,
absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like the more that you use some of these, I'll just be really quick. One of these simple tools, or any tools that you use, they do tend to give you that awareness more quickly than before. You come to that space, you get that space much more quickly, you know? So
you said something. You said when you ask the question, who's this belong to, it brings you back from somewhere to being present.
Yeah.
So is this not our journey right now? You know, when I was growing up, it was be here now. Well, that's fine and all, except there's also be aware of the future, and what are you creating today that's going to create your future tomorrow. So particularly for me, when I facilitate money classes, I am always asking people, yes, we have got to be present, be joyful in our present, and everything we do and be and have and create and generate also must be about tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
We've got to keep looking at the future. We've got to keep asking, and this is like my favorite money tool is, what can I be or do today to create and generate more money right away, now and in the future?
Yeah, I love that. It's like, that's brilliant.
That is, for me, something I still use all the time. I actually still use basic tools.
So can you repeat that again, and maybe somebody can type it into the chat? Maybe I will, but maybe somebody else will. Can you repeat that one again? Because I think a lot of us would like that.
It's for sure on the recording, yes.
Yeah.
What can I be and do today to create and generate more money right away, today and for the future?
Mm-hmm. Today and for the
Everything
future.
that does not allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pocket and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yes. So here's a quick question for you. So how come when you do a clearing, I can perceive it, right, and receive it, but when I do it for myself, I'm not getting anything. It's like, am I getting anything? No. It's like, So, but when somebody else does a clearing, I was like, yeah, I feel that. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like, what?
Well,
What is that?
Well, what is that, Alara?
Am I just in my head trying to define it and figure it out?
Well, are you a grand and glorious creator?
Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
So, where do you want me to go with this?
Well, I think, not I think, but wow. See?
Yeah. Is it the thinking that stops the receiving?
Yeah.
It is. It's our thinking, it's our judgment that stops us from receiving. Because I cannot tell you how many times I have saved my own ass by processing myself.
Mm.
And if I'm stuck, all I have to do is go to YouTube, and sure enough, this is consciousness, this is what I love about consciousness. I go to YouTube, and sure enough, if it isn't just exactly what I need, whatever the YouTube video that Dane has done that day,
mm-hmm.
or that is not necessarily that he did it that day, that happens to be on the YouTube channel when I push the button,
mm-hmm.
It is exactly what I require to hear. Exactly.
Yeah.
It has never, let me repeat, never failed me.
Okay. So you guys go to Dr. Dane's YouTube channel and click on it and see what happens for you.
Well, it's not just that. That's just one example.
No, and that's the thing. It's like when you're going through something, when you're trying to
reach out.
Yeah, go there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's one. I mean, I'm talking about myself. It's also really important to gather, I would say, a group of 2 or 3 people that have your back and that you have their back, who you can call when the Funkatolas get you.
The Funka what?
I said the Funkatolas.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Whew.
So
wow.
Yes, and how many CDs from classes do you have? So, and then do you have the Being You book in your car? So do you have classes on in your car? Now they have SIM cards, and I put a whole bunch of access classes on a SIM card, and it's in my car.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So.
Yep. We have everything available to us,
I'm just saying, if you don't have any classes, you can Google Dane and go to his free. I mean, there's so much free stuff. I probably have free stuff somewhere too. I just don't exactly know how to direct you to get there.
Well, you have a YouTube channel. I happen to see that on your website. There's a link to your YouTube channel.
I don't know how to get there myself, but I know I do have one.
So if you go to curryglassell.com, at the bottom, there's links to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google Plus, probably, and YouTube. I think.
I'm working on Instagram. I'm just not quite sure how to do that yet.
They're all there.
I do have a new website. I'm so excited about it. It's like the most beautiful thing ever, and it just got finished like 2 weeks ago.
I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really nice. I love all the cool pictures. I love the shop. I was like, "Oh, this is very nice."
I'm so excited. Now we have to sift through my Dropbox and find product. Let me tell you what a phenomenal, bizarre work that has been. Because anyway, long story.
But you've created so much, right? So for the past 17 years, you have been creating your life. You've been creating your business, right? You've been
Nope. I
Nope.
have to not creating my business.
No.
No, because I actually didn't know what it was to create a business. I have been creating my life, and I've been coming out of depression, and I've been enjoying my life, and I've been using the access tools to create a happier life.
Mm-hmm.
But business, I had no idea how to create a business. Are you kidding me? The only financial information I ever really knew is the first money class I went to Gary's. It must have been maybe 2003 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he started talking about the 10% fund and, all the basic things about money. And I was like, wow. And I actually started putting those into place for my own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started asking questions, and I started educating myself, and I bought books. But I had no financial education at all before Access. I'm still trying to catch up with financial information. I still educate myself and take classes all the time. And I actually did not know how to start a business. And I'll just tell you that over the past 4 or 5 years, what I had is a few incredible people who were business minded, who were my managers.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they did everything. And I went and did the classes and showed up, because I know I'm a great facilitator, and I know that I can handle anything that comes into class.
Mm-hmm.
And they were happy to be the business managers. And so that's how the first 5 years went. And this summer, all of that changed. They decided they had to do their own thing. And I was left with absolutely no foundation of a business whatsoever. And I have been working steadily. I called a couple friends of mine, and I hired a couple friends of mine who I knew were really brilliant. And I put together a team, and I said, WTF? And they said, so we had a couple of meetings, and they were like, okay, it's going to probably take 6 months, but we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And since June, we have, my current team is saved my life and helped me create a business. And I now have a business. I now have Google Docs. I now have all kinds of things that you need. Let me tell you, no one teaches you how to start a business.
No, that's true. Nobody taught me either when I started.
And
I just started.
And so I did too, but let me tell you, when people say flying by the seat of your pants,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know exactly what flying by the seat of your pants means. And it's a lot more uncomfortable than having a foundation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree.
So,
And so now, you're in the process of creating your business and making it more and more of what you desire.
Well,
right?
I actually have someone who is looking at all the Dropbox and organizing the Dropbox. Things just aren't in there. We're going through it, strategically going, okay, are these classes, do they still work? Can we make packages? Do we need to do something different? The organization process was just really missing from my business. There was no organization whatsoever. And so this is huge. This is huge what has occurred.
And how does it get any better than that?
Yeah. And so what I'm so excited about, which I was telling you just before, and then I went, oh, I better not tell you because I'll forget.
We'll save it for the recording.
Is that my team and I have created this idea, and this idea is for people to create a book club previous to me coming to their town, previous to them hosting me, that they actually, and you have to be at least a bars facilitator, we have this package, and it's called Money's Not the Problem, You Are, and there's a package, and you create your own life and your classes and your own business, at least three
Mm-hmm.
evening classes, and you begin to start creating. And from that, then you can apply to be a host, to host me when I come to do the Intro to Right Riches classes.
Ah, okay.
But it's so important for people to begin to create their own lives and their own classes and their own businesses. This is about creating money and your future.
Yeah.
And so I am so excited. because what I perceive is that facilitators, bars facilitators, will be able to host me if they're willing to do this book club first.
Mm-hmm. Good, cool. So I know that there are people, lots of people on the call here today. So if you're interested, do what Curry's saying, and then you can host her too.
And how cool. And this is about you, the individual facilitator. We're this is a boost, we're giving you this possibility. If you're interested in creating your life and your future, and if you create these classes from Money's Not the Problem You Are with the book, you even have a book,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you are laying a foundation for me to come in and teach all the Bright Ridge's Few Beginning classes. And so that is my that is my 2018 deal. That's what I'll be doing all over the North and South Americas and Europe. And hopefully by the end of 2018, we'll have a group that are interested in being foundational facilitators for Bright Ridge's For You, and then we'll have a facilitator training.
Okay, cool. That's exciting. I'm excited. Who else is excited about that? Yay, Albina's raising her hand. Yay.
I'm excited. So it's really, for me, I see it really as a giving and receiving,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, so I'm so grateful.
And so this is a new way that you are now creating your life and your business.
And my business, yes. My Access business is taking form. It's got a foundation now. I have a base camp in place. I have the identification of jobs and what it entails to host me. And I mean, all those basic things. If you're going to be a motivational speaker that travels around the world, there are things, you can't just wing it for a really long time.
Yeah, you can wing it for a little while.
You can wing it for a little while, and I really know about that one. And then you have to have in place something that sustains the business.
Yeah, I love that. And maybe from this conversation that we're just having now, and what you're going to be creating, even from that, you could create a class or create a training. There's potential.
Oh my gosh.
There's potential for that too, because you've experienced it, and you've gone from here to here to here, right?
Oh, that's really true. And, and opening the door for private coaching. That's one of my other things that I'm beginning to do. I just went, wow, people need private coaching.
Yes.
I remember, years ago, the hours and the days that I would spend with Dane or Gary changed my life forever. I was one place the day before I had a day with them, and I was on a completely different track the next day, headed in a greater direction. It was phenomenal. And, that's just the way it is. That's just what occurs. Spend a day with me, your life will never be the same.
And that's beautiful. And that, what that tells me is that when you are choosing for yourself, right now you're choosing, my business is going to be bigger. My business is going to be organized. I'm choosing to facilitate more classes. I'm choosing to do more coaching, right? The first step is that choice, the idea or the choice, right? And then implementing that, right?
Actually, the first step is coming out of being pathetic girl.
Ah. What? Say that again?
The first step is realizing you're not a pathetic wimp, and you can actually frickin' do this, even if the people you were counting on aren't there anymore.
Whew. Wow. Did you all hear that?
That was the first step.
Yeah, you are not pathetic. Number one, you are not pathetic. You're not a wimp. You don't need,
you don't know. You just stop there. You don't need.
Yeah. You don't need.
There's an infinite being need.
No.
It's only when we fall back into being finite that we get crazy and think we're needy.
Right. Or that you don't have enough, or you don't have this, or you don't have that. You're lacking before you can even start.
That's always finite being thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, everything that brings up times a gazillion. Maybe somebody else on the call would like to destroy and create all that.
Yes, definitely.
Bad talking pot all nine, shorts, boys, and beyond.
Wow. So is that bringing up anything for anybody? I know it's bringing up something for me right now. was like, oh shit.
We just invited them to our private coaching session, Alana.
Exactly. I mean, if you guys don't have a question, then it's just me. You know, I'm here to receive. I'm receiving. I laugh, but it's so true, right?
That is so true. And I'm so happy to speak to you. I mean, for every person that ever calls me or asks for a session, they are the center of my universe for that time that I give them.
Yeah. They are your priority.
Absolutely.
Right. I was listening to Simone Milasas yesterday or something, because I had taken the Joy of Business 101 rewrite, right? And so I was going back and watching those things, and one of the things she was talking about was agendas and priorities, you know? And so, you know, how many agendas do we have, you know, in place that are stopping us even from starting our business, from starting to create our life? You know, how many agendas do we have that are, I'm feeling like, wow, all these blocks already.
Well, yeah. Well, because we start creating agendas, right, when we're very, very small. Well, let's just talk about this life, because that's the one we can talk about.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one we can talk about with words. Mm-hmm. You know, when we're very, very small, we start creating agendas. We make decisions as children that we should not do this. And what's the biggest thing? The biggest thing is that we are raised in a reality that is based on the thrival of anti-consciousness and unconsciousness.
Yeah.
And so if you are an infinite potent being, then there's a good chance you did something as a kid that upset people. And if you decided you didn't like the reaction, there's where it begins. Oh, I'll never do that again. I won't show my power again. Yeah. Oh my God, I have to bend, fold, staple, and mutilate myself so I don't show up as potent. And let's talk about what's the title of your call. Therefore, I end up becoming mediocre.
Wow. Ah. Yeah.
Because if you refuse to be you, then there's nothing left but mediocrity. And that's corrupting the potency you are. Mm-hmm. That's why these new processes are so flippin' like, wow, you know, out the wow zoo, because we have corrupted our potency and bought the lies. You know, the jail processes are just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. You guys should run them all the time. You know,
the jails money. And the comfortable distance ones. It's like, holy shit.
I have to I pick like one at a time. I kind of go through a series and I pick what seems to like be for me, you know, and also it takes me kind of a while to incorporate the bigness of these processes. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you know, they're so big that I really spend time running them. I usually try and run a process that's like 30 times a day for 30 days. I started out 17 years ago when I was, you know, within the first 6 months of being in Access, my ex-husband sued me for custody of the children. And I began my life in Access doing 30 times a day, you know, for 30 days, perceive, know, be, and receive processes. I just get up and walk for 30, 40 minutes, and I'd run those processes literally 30 times a piece. Mm-hmm. And that's how I made it through the lawsuit.
Well, that's what Gary used to say a long time ago. You know, he would say, run this process 30 times, you know, for 30 days. You know, he would, that's what he used to say.
Says it to me.
Okay. I just remember.
I had a private session with him before he went to Australia, and he goes, and this process, run this 30 times a day for 30 days. Maybe run it all night long, Curry. What do you mean? Used to.
Yeah, he still does. Yeah. But that's the thing. Are we doing that? You know, are we running a process 30 times every day?
I am.
Exactly. And you know, your life is changing. So I just wanted to,
So.
there's a comment and a question on the chat. So Linda says, yes, I am receiving. It is good to listen to this, especially when organizational skills are hard to come by for me. Thank you, Linda. And everything that is, will you destroy and create it all? Curry can do the pot and pock.
Like good, bad, pock and pot, all nine shows boys me on. Can I add something there,
Yes,
Laura?
yes. Mm-hmm.
I would say if organizational skills are not easy for you, hire someone. Bite the bullet. Yeah. I have so not one regret for hiring someone to help me organize this. And I've watched them as they did it, and I have learned and become more organized by being able to watch them and be aware of what they have done. It's been a great education, and it's changed my life forever and helped me too.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yes, absolutely. And my husband, from the first couple of months when I first met him, he was all about organizing, and I'm like, oh no, I'll just I'll work out. Now I'm like, yes, you're right. Let's organize, because you're right. It helps. It helps to lay the foundation and give you a clearer picture of moving forward. So yeah, thank you, Linda, for that.
Absolutely. The person who wants information about energies, if you can come up with a specific question, it'll be much easier to address.
So Albina, the question about the energies of money, riches, and wealth.
Hi.
Ah, there she is. Hi.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm here with you.
Me too. I'm glad you're here too. I miss you.
Oh, miss you too, darling. So,
go ahead.
So my question is, I heard somewhere through Access that Curry Glassell was sharing that there are different vibrations on the money, riches, and wealth. So I was wondering if now would be a contribution to share anything on that.
Well, the first thing is don't believe everything you hear and ask the person directly, because I never talk about many different energies. What I do talk about is that you can become the vibration of money. You can become the vibration of gold. You can become the vibration of wealth and riches. And that's about educating yourself, being around it, receiving it, and just beginning, like you're going to decide, I'm going to be the vibration of money. Now, what's that going to take? What's that look like? Wow. So for me personally, it meant that I went on the hunt for silver glasses and silver goblets. I went, you know what? I turned 60 years old this year. I'm going to fucking drink out of silver. Damn. I mean, I may die tonight.
Yeah.
Why would I not drink out of sterling silver? They say that she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth.
Yeah.
Of course, I love what Dan Richards said. I did a documentary about the great Dan Richards. She said George Bush was born with a silver foot in his mouth, which of course lost her the election. But anyway, so silver goblets, it's because there's actually a health value to when you put your mouth on silver. Now, in the health world, which, I would not say I know all that much about. I have dabbled in and out for many, many years. But apparently there's colloidal silver, which you can take. Mm-hmm. But I just personally think it's a lot funner to drink out of sterling silver.
And so what's interesting is, Curry, that you're talking about having a silver goblet. So when I was in India one time, way back when, I had bought a silver cup or silver glass, for water, right? And I was told to, drink water from it or drink milk from it because it's going to contribute to you. The energy of the cup or glass in silver is going to contribute to you. So drink. And for me, it's like, okay, can I get that in gold too?
No kidding. And actually they don't make a lot of gold goblets anymore.
No.
I mean, I think they're all in the museum.
But can you imagine, just get the energy of that, right?
Yes, I can. I've been asking for gold goblets to show up. I haven't found one yet outside of a museum, but they actually, wouldn't that be cool?
Yes, I think so. And I'm So Albina, hopefully that helped and that gave you some clarity.
Does that help a little bit?
Yes, thank you. I think the one question that I had was like, how do you know the vibration of money?
You're thinking. You're thinking. So first of all, get out of your head. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Curry.
I was just going to say, I would start with some of the basic access tools, like, do you have a 10% fund? Okay, so have you at least 9 months worth of your monthly income in that fund yet? Okay, when you get to 9 months, okay, there's something energetic that will occur. That is one of the greatest tools. I mean, creating that, I call mine a self-respect fund, because I'm saying that I respect myself more than my bills. I will always come up with more money to pay my bills, but I'm going to put 10% of everything I earn away. And if I can put 10% away from the business, I will too. You know, now what else is possible? Because the last few years, my access business, I have basically been in the red because I paid everybody else and I didn't pay myself. Because I have this stupid thing where I like to make sure that people who help me get paid. So, not that it's bad, but, and I should get paid too, you know. So, the very first way to begin to create an energetic ease with money is creating the 10% fund for yourself. Then also, you can take it out occasionally and play with it. What country do you live in?
She's here in Austria.
Oh my God, you have beautiful money. I was going to say, you know, as long as you can, I would take out that money and I would play with it every night or every other night. You know, take it out of your safe, look at it, smell it, tell it how grateful you are, and ask it to have babies.
Right. Ask it to have babies. Yes.
Yeah. And begin to enjoy money. There is actually a vibration to money. Money has consciousness too. Money is actually like the fuel you put in your car to get somewhere. It's a little bit of a creation, okay? It's a lot of bit of a creation, and there's an energy to it. But for me, the energy of money is easier in solid things like silver, sterling silver, or gold coins, or beautiful art. Something that you can tangibly, you know, what do the rich people you know have in their homes? What do the rich people you know collect? What kind of antiques? What kind of silver? What kind of art? You know, begin to bring some of those things into your life and become one with them. Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. And you might consider buying the book, How to Become Money. Are you there, Laura?
I am. Okay. Look.
Oh, okay. And you might consider.
I'm going to show you my gold coins.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I would kiss them. And you might consider taking the Right Riches for You class from me sometime. So, you know, I think being money is contagious. I look at that I'm a walking, talking disease.
Disease? What did I miss here? I was gone for 30 seconds.
I'm a walking, talking disease called money. Because I like money. I like talking about money. And I love seeing other people get free from their limitations about money.
And there's so much you can do with money, you know?
Well, yeah, but there's so much you can do, and then the money will come. See, you don't have to have the money to begin to create. That's one of the biggest mistakes.
Yeah.
You must begin to create, and then the money will come.
Yeah.
And if you need inspiration, there's quite a few books. You can just Google entrepreneurs who started with less than $1,000 and read their stories. This is the education part, and this is what I always encourage people. Educate yourself about how entrepreneurs made their money. How is money made? How did this occur? You'd be surprised sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Karen. I'm on the phone, so I don't know how to interrupt.
Go ahead. Hi, Karen. Go
so
ahead.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay.
But I just wanted to share something. I was at a body work shop, not Access, but something else. And I had this vision of all my ancestors in a black and white photograph, standing, one, in pairs, one behind the other. And then right after that black and white photograph, I saw a huge, shiny cowrie shell, which is the ancient form of money in Chinese culture, because I'm Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So I think the ancestors were showing me, because I'm taking care of my mom, that I'm going to be rewarded. And it was just so funny, because I was like, it was this beautiful, shiny, and huge cowrie shell, seashell,
Mm-hmm.
and like a museum quality. And it was like kind of like with silver on both ends. So I was just like so grateful for that, because it didn't resonate at the time. But then afterwards, it's like, oh yeah, my mother is dying. I'm taking care of her,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm her executor. And it was just so awesome to receive that from my ancestors.
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
Very cool. How does it get any better than that? All things will talk to you if you're willing to have ears to hear.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. and that's the thing. Sometimes, we do receive those types of messages or visions, and they are sometimes a confirmation of not only what is available to us, but the energy that is perhaps with us and surrounding us. It just, like you were talking about having art and everything. And so, so Albina, you haven't been to our place recently, but we have this beautiful art piece that we bought recently at auction. And I look at it every day because it's right in front of me on that wall. And it's like, it is so beautiful. And my husband at the time when we first bought it, I don't think he was really into it because it's an angel. Right. So he wasn't really into it, but now the more that he sees it and the more that, he's getting used to it, he's loving it. It's like, oh, God, I'm thinking, yay. But it's about creating a space too for yourself that is rich or, and it's not even right. The word is not even rich, but elegance and opulence, but whatever makes you feel good,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. And so it doesn't necessarily, like, not everything in my room is like thousands of dollars, but there are some things that are like $50, but it makes me feel good, and it contributes to me. And so this is something that I didn't always get. It's about how everything contributes to you. Right. So it's not just the money, it's not just the art pieces, but it's everything, the pictures of my kids and the art that I've made myself, everything contributes, right? So can you talk, I know we've already gone over, it's like, oh my goodness, where has the time gone? But
only I have to
contribution.
My son is supposed to be showing up any minute, so I'm going to have to deal with him.
Yes, absolutely.
Alara?
So,
yeah?
Yes. What?
Is there something I can say that is kind of a little unrelated, but Curry was saying something about Merlin?
Mm-hmm.
Can I give you a poem?
Merlin. Remember you mentioned Merlin way back when. Curry's like, I don't remember.
Are you talking about the magician Merlin from Camelot?
Yes, I am.
I love Merlin.
Okay, can I give you a poem?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
The mist holds, it's channeled. The mist holds tight its secret rare. The fog encircles this land so fair. Far from the world, this land holds sway. Only those of worth can know the way. Then best be born of priestess bright, who in blue gowns do hold the right to scry and bold to reveal true sight. O Avalon, so long withdrawn, lost now to the world of men. Does the Lady of the Lake still roam the land? On this crystal lake and shore, was it real or simply lore, which drew these ladies through Avalon's door? Real no more, or could it be? The land still waits patiently for those blessed with second sight. Draw down the mists, and all will know if Avalon is real or lore. Thank you.
Wow,
Wow, that's awesome.
that was beautiful, Linda. Thank you so much. I got goosebumps. And
Oh my gosh, that was like, could you put in the thread like where you found that? I'd love to like see that. I'd love to read it again. It was beautiful.
Honey, I channeled it.
Oh, wow.
Really?
That's channeled, yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, will you just,
Can you email it to me, Linda? And then and then I can send it to Curry, if that's okay?
I will try.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
a poem. Absolutely beautiful. Well,
I won't share it with anybody else.
I want to share it with the world. I want to share
I want to
it with
get
the
her
world.
permission. I want to get
Well, if she gives me permission and I'll give her credit, I'll share it with the whole world.
It's on a CD, and Who's Who of Poetry. So
It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much.
Wow.
you're welcome.
Incredible. What a sweet thing. Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah, I love that. The magic and the mysticism and just, opens up so much about Avalon. Thank you. So I just wanted to, because I know Curry has to go in a moment, but I wanted to share with everybody the gift that Curry has for us. It's on the gift page, for example, is the first telecall of a series. I'm finding it, of creating something from nothing. I love that title even, creating
Me
something
too.
from nothing, right? Call one.
too.
Can you just talk about that for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a telecall series I created to assist people in knowing that they didn't have money to start creating.
Right, and so how many of us could actually use that as inspiration to start creating our life as we're moving into 2018, right? I mean, and you don't even have to wait till 2018, you can start now. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's free. We're giving it away for just hanging out with Laura and me.
Exactly, so please do take a look at it, download it, listen to it, and then I'm sure there's tools and processes, please use them as well, right? And so this was this was so much fun. I am so amazed by how much I get out of these calls. It's like, wow, how did I get so lucky? It's like, thank you so much, Curry. This was, I knew this was going to be fun.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. And for all of you, please do watch the video again or download the audio and listen to it, because there were so many things that we talked about that will, are going to assist you to move forward, are going to assist you to start to create your life and go beyond mediocre to infinite possibilities, because so much more is possible for you. Go ahead.
Actually, Laura, can I also just promote something? I actually have my Christmas, I usually do 3 calls in a row, actually starting tomorrow at noon. I have 3 telecalls coming out of the Friends and Having More Fun during the holidays. If anybody's interested, we'd love to have them.
So where can we find out about that, Curry?
On my website and also on my Facebook pages.
Perfect. So you can go to curryglassell.com or find Curry on Facebook and look it up. I've seen posts for it myself, so you will be able to find
I
it.
hope so.
Yeah, I've seen it, so I know they will see it too. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Curry, and thank you everybody for your comments, your presence, being with us, your contributions, and your questions. Thank you so much. I just so love doing this, and I'm so grateful for all of you for being present here with us on all of these calls, and go back and listen to them. There's so much wisdom, so many processes, so much change is available for all of you. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day. And until next time, continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
You.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
sweeties.
Drive carefully. Karen, I know you're driving, so bye.
Thank you.
See you soon, Albina. All right, bye, everyone. Let me hit to stop.